You ever wondered what we mean when we say you have to read in between the lines? We all seem to intuitively understand what's meant when it's said, but hardly ever stop to ask, what is that exactly and how are we able to do it? Other life forms seem to have a more straightforward way of communicating, but for us, information is somehow able to be layered, folded, twisted, and contorted in all kinds of ways, which result in these meanings within meanings, counterintuitive emergent meaning, and so on. You see, there's what's happening, and then there's what's actually happening. There's what someone says, and there's what someone is actually saying. If you've ever gone on a date, I'm sure you've awkwardly experienced this. We see this whole uproar about consent in recent history due to it. Yes can mean yes, yes can mean no, and yes can mean maybe. No can mean maybe, and maybe can mean yes. This is all what I call irrational information. And the word irrational, it gets a bad rap. It has this negative connotation to it. It's often confused with being quote unquote nonsense, but it's important to know that irrational doesn't mean something doesn't make sense. It just makes a different kind of sense. I say it makes super sense. It makes sense in a way that is more rich and textured. You could say that we are able to jam more information into the same amount of space-time and extract greater meaning from reality as a result. For example, with double entendre, you can have two different conversations taking place at the exact same time using the exact same words. There's metaphor and irony. It's all irrational. When we process irrational information, there's this inexplicable richness to it. You can feel it, and I know you all know exactly what I'm talking about. It invokes emotion. There is a kind of resonance. Very important, by the way, this word resonance. Whether it be a good joke, a breakup, or taking a walk in the park while you ponder the meaning of existence itself. This is because irrational information isn't about how reality relates to itself. That's what the rational is all about. Logic, the manipulation of objects. The irrational is about how reality relates to us. It is the way we interface with reality as human beings. And I think the clearest depiction of this principle, or what I'm trying to express here, is seen in the way we choose to orientate ourselves within the universe. When we first mapped the heavens, we sat at the center. This was geocentrism. I'm sure you've heard of it. Then we discovered that we actually revolve around the sun, and through institutional reform, this became dogma. This is heliocentrism, our current model. But now, we've actually discovered that in the end, it really makes no true difference. There is no quote-unquote true or correct anchor point. We are ultimately swimming around in the infinite. Now, it's just a matter of mathematical convenience that we choose one over the other. But what I want you to do is look at the difference. Both of these are quote-unquote correct, whatever that means, but they embody two very different principles. One shows how things or objects and events relate to themselves, and the other shows how objects and events relate to us. One shows where we are located in the universe, and the other shows where we are situated in the cosmos. Even though we are essentially looking at the same phenomenon, which is our solar system, one contains far more information than the other. You could say one is having a more layered conversation. It is more textured. It's not a double or triple entendre, it's a super entendre, jam-packed with meaning. There are exponentially more data points, configurations, ways you intersect with reality, or the way reality relates to you, however you want to look at all of this. It is more textured and complex and rich because it is irrational information. It is rife with symbolism, synchronicity, cosmic giggles, and deja vu. All of these subtle ways that reality almost appears to be winking at you and only you. It's like your own little inside joke where the only person in the universe who could possibly have all of the context to completely understand it is you. And if you think this is about geocentrism versus heliocentrism, you've missed the entire point. Once again, you failed to read in between the lines. This is about you. This is about us. There's no denying that we've learned a lot about how things work, but it seems we've forgotten how we work. We have lost touch with ourselves in the process. It doesn't matter if we can all quantum teleport to some remote galaxy, because wherever you go, you will be there. Wherever you are located, you will always be at the center. We are all center stage in an inescapable drama. This is the drama of your own life story and how it intersects with reality at large. Our perspective is actually some kind of stage with a whole host of characters that we will encounter no matter what we do. There's the usual suspects like love, regret, betrayal, friendship, loneliness, greed, bliss, the list goes on and on. However, the main character appears to be the mystery of being itself. You can just go to a dinner party and experience all of the aforementioned in just a few hours, love, betrayal, and all of that. But when the party's over, there's this lingering phantom, this Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, the mystery of being, the desire to know what's really going on here. What am I? What is all of this? And if you are someone like me, someone who is coming into this realization that we are embedded within this strange irrational interface, you'll find that there really are few resources for understanding and exploring this. Questions like, why is it like this? And what's really going on here? There really is no place you can go. I mean, I went to college, I took philosophy classes, and I was overwhelmingly disappointed with my experience. There were certain questions you're just not allowed to ask. There are certain ideas you are not allowed to entertain, at least if you want to pass the class. And let's be honest, that's why you're listening to me, and that's why I'm speaking to you. There was no one to talk to about this, so I shouted into the void of the internet, and luckily, I found my people. So what I decided to do is build a place that solves this problem. It's called Paramind.org. Now, what is Paramind? It is a community-supported e-learning and knowledge database for all things on this side of the pursuit of understanding, the schizophrenic side. As far as learning goes, there are hundreds of structured lessons designed to initiate you into this kind of thinking. The key word here is structured. The hardest part about most things is figuring out where to start. I know it was like that for me, and we've solved that. If you opt in for the Pro tier, you can get the full Third Eye Tyrone package. I have taken the core of my philosophy and structured it into a series of videos designed to introduce you to core principles within metaphysics and my philosophy. If you enjoy my usual signature video editing style where I dive into mind-bending metaphysics in an approachable and entertaining way, this is where I will be uploading those because I'm running into copyright issues on this channel and I can speak freely over there without worrying about the YouTube algorithm. It's everything that I do on YouTube just taken to a new level. I already have plenty of videos over there. There are also Reddit-style forums where we can all kick it, chat, ask questions, and finally have a community. But I think the crown jewel of the site is the knowledge base. You can think of it as a super library of esoteric knowledge. The database features a growing collection of great thinkers and their most relevant ideas presented in a bite-sized, digestible format. You can see important theories, noteworthy books and recommendations, symbols and their meanings, all compiled together in a structured, user-friendly library. We are creating an interactive visual map of ideas where similar ideas cluster to show just how interconnected all of this really is. Wouldn't it be nice to see where Hinduism intersects with general relativity? This is what we are creating. In the end, I'd like for Paramind to be our greatest asset on the journey of self discovery. You can think of it as a Swiss Army tool for self reflection. It is ultimately an esoteric hub. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, this shouldn't come as a surprise. I've been trying to create something like this since I started this channel. But nothing ever happens before its time, and now it appears that the time is now. So consider supporting me on paramind.org. I am excited to see you all over there. And until next time, y'all have a blessed day.